year is 2021 and New Masters Academy is still the absolute #1 online art school on the planet. That's right, #1 online art school on the planet. Click the link down below for a free 7-day trial. Thank you, New Masters Academy. I am in your mind. I am in your... Hey everybody, welcome back to the Honey and Absinthe After Hours podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Vincent, a background designer for the Hollywood animation industry.
And I'm Janet, the ex-Disney artist turned independent creator, and this is a podcast about all things art, business, and whatever we feel like.
Now today we're going to talk about why do young artists choose vanity over money.
But before we get into it, make sure to touch, jingle, all our bells and buttons. Please and thank you.
Please and thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, you had a whole rant this morning over breakfast. What was that about?
Well, I realized that...
Wait.
Yeah.
Before you tell them what you realized, they look really good, don't they?
They do. You guys look great this week. It's a great, bright, beautiful Monday morning, and you're going to have a really great week
because you're here with us. You're listening to us. So what was this about?
Well, I realized this a long time ago. Like, basically when I first came onto YouTube for the first month or so, with my mission. I guess my mission in life was to just help other people not have to go into a corporate job, especially because, I decided to quit my job at Disney. And I realized very quickly that I cannot do anything about that, because people meaning specifically millennials and Gen Z in particular, I've noticed really, really love Hollywood. They really love Hollywood. They, in our circles, I guess, they really love animation, and they really love corporations in general, which is really confusing to me. And because of their love of Hollywood, nothing I say about how much Disney sucks gets through to them. They don't believe
Disney's a powerful brand, man.
Very powerful.
Very, very powerful. No, who do you think you are, thinking that you could make a dent in that armor?
I really didn't think I could make a dent in that armor.
Yeah, that's silly.
I just wanted to say my piece and
peace out.
Yeah, and go on my merry way and make my vlogs or whatever it is that I want to do. But lo and behold, I did a little chink in the armor, a little chip, but barely. Barely.
You think so? You really think you did something?
Me and probably
at this point,
everyone who's trying to get people to wake up and understand that these are corporations. They have absolutely no interest in your best interest.
Or art, by and large.
Yeah. And it's shown by comments that I get. For some reason, whenever I say I'm an ex-Disney artist or an independent creator, people get so upset. Certain people, I guess my haters, whatever you want to call them, my critics, I guess Scott would say, they really hate it when I say that, and I don't know why. To them, it seems like I'm offending them in some way, or that by saying that I think I'm special, or I think I'm a ex-Disney artist. It's just a thing I say. It's just,
it's more than that. You went rogue, and you're keeping it real.
Yeah.
And realness is not what they want.
They don't like the idea that there could be such a thing as an ex-Disney artist, but I'm not the first one. Yet people find it so offensive that I am an ex-Disney artist, and to me, I'm not sure where it comes from. It either is they're bothered by the fact that I am shitting on this thing that they love so much, and I'm just like, why are you shilling for Disney?
Yeah, why is that?
What? There are so many people on Twitter, on the internet, everywhere that have nothing to do with Disney. They're just normal, average, everyday people. Maybe they're artists. They don't work for Disney. And
they're super fans.
They shill so hard for Disney.
They really, really love the thing.
I'm just like, Disney's not paying you. You don't benefit from doing that at all. In fact, I think they kind of hate you. They they call you the lowest common denominator. That's a term that they use to call you and to pander to you, and I just don't understand it. And I have been seeing a lot because it's why I quit season. As I like
spring.
To call it. Yeah.
Spring cleaning.
Beginning of the year up until maybe like summer, like why I quit videos are really popular on YouTube. Because everyone, they want to make a big
new
change.
Year, new you.
Exactly.
Right.
So a lot of people tend to like quit their jobs and then make why I quit videos. So I've been getting served a lot of them, and it's really interesting to me because some of them, the more shocking ones, the ones that typically go viral, are the ones where like you seem like you had it all. You had a 6-figure income. One I watched recently was from like a woman who quit her job as a corporate lawyer, I think.
Yeah, I was overhearing it during breakfast. She wanted to see her grandpa or something.
Yeah.
During the whole craziness that was happening.
They were like, what do we pay you for? So she didn't see her grandpa, and he passed because of the coof, as they call it. And she regrets no amount of money could have been worth it, for her to do that, and she had to really reconsider her lifestyle and her job. And she was leaving a $250,000 a year lawyer job, much more than what they pay you in animation. And I was very curious. I have clicked on a bunch of these just to see what they were going to say, and a lot of their points are very similar to my points in my video of just like, it's a corporate job, it's soul crushing, it kind of sucks, and I'd rather be making less doing something else that I love, and it's not worth it. It's always that. It's always like someone is like unhappy, sold a weird lie about how you need in order to be successful, you need some kind of office corporate job, and then they leave and they're like, this is why. Nothing different to my video. And I also wanted to see the reception, because it's shocking. It's shocking to see like people still don't understand why I would ever quit my job working at Disney, supposedly.
There are a lot of people who think that people who work on the Disney animated stuff work at Disneyland.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
Still, that's still a thing. Oh, don't you work at Disneyland? Why would you want to leave?
Yeah, I'm like, no, that's not. I don't ride theme park rides all day.
During your lunch breaks?
Yeah, I know. Sit in a cubicle, a dark cubicle.
How dark?
Like, it has to be really dark because you're on computer screens. And it's gonna like reflections and stuff. So artists also like to live in dungeons. So very, very dark. We're all vampires. We all look sickly and green.
Like, we need the sun.
Yeah.
We go outside for a little bit.
So I wanted to see the reception of these videos because I tend to get a lot of hate. I don't know if it's because I look young. I don't know if it's because I'm particularly criticizing Hollywood and people are really offended by that or whatever. But for the most part, people tell me I'm crazy. They tell me, why would you give up something like that? These people don't get, like, when I saw making $250,000 a year, people don't say, why would you give that up? You're privileged. You're spoiled. You're spoiled brat. I get that a lot by people younger than me. My like little 15, 17-year-olds. Yeah, and I'm like, you love Disney. I'd do anything for that. I'm like, man, you're 17. You would not say that to my face if you met me in real life.
My God, they'd piss their pants.
Yeah. I'd just be like, what is this madness? Like, little 17-year-olds, like, trying to patronize me is very strange. They really think they're older than me. They really think we're the same age. And I don't understand, like, how many times I have to repeat it. I'm 28. So these people, they do not get the same criticism. For the most part, it's all positive. It's a lot of people going, like, I understand. Like,
new year, new you. It's gonna be great.
But also, like, yeah, we were all sold a weird lie that, getting a corporate job might not be for everyone. Like, and there's nothing wrong with earning less if that lifestyle is what makes you happy. Everyone, your parents want the best for you, so they want you to have that 6-figure job, to become a lawyer or a doctor, or to be successful in life, and to have in, like, what we call, like, a cushy job where, like, you're sitting in front of a computer.
Also, where your parents come from, that's not really, like, as easy of an option.
Yeah.
So that's why they're like, you're in America, don't mess this up. You don't know what our family has been through.
Yeah.
We came all the way here. You don't f this up. Don't be an artist.
Yeah.
You're gonna be a bum.
And a lot of people, what they end up doing after they leave their really high-paying, stressful job, because the more high-paying you are, the more responsibilities you have, the more stress comes with the job. They leave it for a simpler job with less office politics, pays less, but they have more time to spend with family, more time to commit to their hobbies, more time to enjoy life, yeah. Which is what you should do.
Yeah.
After you become an adult, you go through school, you struggle so hard to whatever, you get a job, and, like, you really want, like, not everyone wants their job to be their whole life, to have to work 10 20-hour days, or, like, whatever it is. Like, not everyone wants that. And a lot of people, I think, a lot of millennials especially, are realizing this. Like, we're starting to work, get careers, whatever it is, and, the longer you're in your career, the harder it is to leave it. And you, at a certain point, in your heart, it's not for you. But again, you're afraid of the criticisms, and you're afraid, like, you work so hard to get to this place.
You're afraid of how you're going to just keep a roof over your head. But, those are irrational things, because if you've been working on this career, say animation career, for 10 years, you think you'd be able to figure something out?
Yeah, or, like, I think it's more an ego thing, like, rationalizing that, like, oh, I'm getting paid X amount of money every year. Will I be okay getting paid, like, let's say half that? 40,000, like, a very okay income. By most standards, like, it's not high paying, but it's not super, it's like you survive on it. But there's, like, an aspect of that you're like, what are my family and friends gonna say, or what are people gonna think of me? Like, to say that, like, oh, I think so. I read somewhere someone quit their, like, 6-figure corporate job to bag groceries, and they couldn't be happier.
Yeah, I think, was this like a podcast or something? I remember it was getting off the shower and you were listening to some guy talk about how, like, he's so much more fulfilled just bagging groceries.
I mean, there's so many videos I watched that are, like, similar.
That same story.
Yeah. Huh. And it's like, yeah, there was a girl who quit her office job to do physical labor. She became a landscaper for her county, where she lives. So, like, a government job, but, like, watching that video, she loves it because she's on her feet. She gets to, like, be outdoors, which she really, like, it made her so unhappy to be in a cubicle indoors every single day. And like, the people aren't as competitive and crazy, because in every corporate job, in any competitive field, people get really, like, competitive and ladder climbing. But she said, like, she can actually make friends because people aren't trying to step all over each other, trying to get ahead or what, or just landscaping.
It's also, I mean, like, this all makes sense later when you're really an adult and you're balls deep in your whatever corporate career. But when you're young, it's not sexy to say I bag groceries at the Vons or Safeway, man.
Yeah.
You want to say I work at Disney Animation.
Yeah, I've done things in my life.
I've done things in my life.
And
I've really done things with my life.
I was just surprised, and I really wondered, like, what is it about me? What is it about my job that really hurt some people? Like, leaving my this is a personal decision, for one. Like, who are you to tell me what to do or to criticize my decisions in life when I'm telling you it doesn't make me happy? Like, it's just that simple. And
what are you gonna do? Stay in the job just to please?
To please
them?
I can't win.
Yeah.
But I remember at the time dealing with a lot of the criticisms and being like, I really just, it does not make sense to me why anyone would care. Why anyone would, one, watch the video, and two, would care about my decision. And I remember someone like commenting at me like, oh, the concept of crabs in a bucket.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, where I think there's a weird...
Because then, like, a lot of industry people were, like, throwing the shade at you.
Yeah,
so
being
then,
like, no, it's
but
not
then
like
it's like
that.
they're so dumb, because it's like, you do realize this is a public forum, right?
Yeah.
And everyone is seeing how you're behaving, and everyone's taking note.
I'm
like,
sure...
they're like... You're proving everything that you've said in the video to the people who are watching you behave like an idiot.
Yeah, I'm talking about my bullies, and they're literally outing themselves in the comments. I'm sure a lot of them like either deleted their comments or edited their comments to make
but people saw.
Yeah, people saw.
Come on. People saw, and like it's like what these people don't understand. It's not about, the rando artist wherever. It's about their coworker or the person who's potentially hiring them.
Yeah.
And I remember somebody, I think when you were really catching heat, I think someone at Disney emailed you and was just like, don't worry, all these people are showing their true colors, or chin up or some corny...
Are a lot of normal people as well, yes, at Disney and at all these corporate places. And... They got to see. They got to see exactly what happens to you when you fall out of line. And it's sad, but it also tells them who to avoid, who's faking and who's a crazy person.
Who's just useful for the moment. And then, when a new round of, hirees from CalArts and Artsr come up, they just eliminate them and then hire these new people.
Yep. And so
and then a lot of these people in animation are getting long in the tooth now, huh?
Yeah.
And I saw this this YouTube video from who? Who is this?
So I think her name is Lemon Collie.
Yeah, Lemon Collie. Yeah, I saw like 30 seconds of her video, I think, explaining something about storyboarding, and I was like, okay, off the bat, I can tell this person's really intelligent, really passionate about this thing, and really, really talented because the drawings were beautiful. And I was thinking, like, man, the usual suspects are just going to sweep this person up, not because she's talented, not because they care about her, because they're becoming wash-ups themselves and they just want to mooch off her fresh talent.
Yeah, so I was watching this video, and then like you were just kind of looking over my shoulder and just like walked away or whatever. But I watched it and I was like, man, there are so many talented young artists popping up every single day. And whether or not I discover them or whatever, is like, I know they exist. And I just felt that way, exactly what you said, that like when we were coming up, the rising stars of animation were kind of groomed in a way, like just accepted into the fold. And like a lot of the more older veteran artists kind of like, come join our squad, come be our friend. And then, as a young artist, finally getting some recognition and attention, especially from people who are your idols and you look up to and you want to work with one day. It's a really flattering, nice feeling to receive this.
Senpai noticed me.
Yeah, and it feels... Hollywood is so good. It feels genuine. It feels like they genuinely like you. They, for some reason, it's a little like creepy that they like come out of nowhere and they're like, hey, let's be friends. But they like you. They immediately want to be friends with you, and they are introducing you to other people that you also admire, and it's nice. But the thing is, now that we're older and we've seen it happen a few times now, people don't do this without something in return. And what young artists don't know is happening to them is that these idols that you idolize, they are slowly becoming irrelevant, and they are desperately trying to cling on to their relevancy and their fame and their whatever, vanity, whatever. And they can see you become big.
And take over their spot.
And they are insecure that you are better than them. Like this,
which you are.
Which you are. Like this girl,
1 million, like that's
so good. Yeah.
And I have to say, like, oh, do you think it's a part of the artist's journey to you know, because you do have this talent, and you've seen this, like, you know, trope before in all sorts of fiction, from movies to like novels and stuff, where, like, you know, the talented person, the gifted person gets seduced by whatever and manipulates their talent for whatever. Recently we saw this Elliot Gould movie on Criterion. I forgot the name. We'll probably link it. Yeah. I'll probably link it right now, right here, right there. And it's a really amazing movie. Highly recommend. And like, it seems as though it's like meandering and has nothing to do about anything for the first 30 minutes, but you soon realize it's just about like how people use each other.
Yeah.
How people just so blatantly use you, and like how there are people who exude really good energy.
Yeah.
There are people who exude good energy, and we talked about, like, what is it? Optimistic people just for some strange reason tend to just do a little bit better in life.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah. But there are people who want to leech off of that. And there are people who just cannot even begin to think in any sort of positive light, but are attracted to people who can and will suck them dry.
Yeah. And it made me sad because these older veteran artists who are trying to smooth and be friends with the younger talent, the ingenue, as you would call it in dance, but they want some of your
thunder.
Some of your fame, some of the notoriety that comes with being associated with you, because we know when we see someone who's going to be big or someone who's got it.
We could tell. Yeah.
Who can get there one day. And I want a piece of that, even if it's by association. And I was like seeing a lot of these people who clearly, like, it was about storyboarding, I think, or animation or something, and she so clearly loves this thing, this animation thing, and going to CalArts and everything. This person obviously wants to work in the industry, would give anything to work in the industry, because that's just, how it goes. And I was just like, you're more talented than that. You are so much better than the industry. The fact that, like, I was, like, recommended this video, and, like, you're doing something well and the algorithm likes you or whatever. So, like,
when the video finds its way to you somehow, when the YouTube gods serve you,
serve
your
everyone
video.
Videos, it's like, oh, the algorithm gods have shined, you're lucky. It's like, clearly you're doing it now.
You're doing it. Like Mac DeMarcus said, you're doing it.
You don't need Hollywood to validate you and tell you, like, now you can. You're literally doing it right now. And it made me sad, because I was like, oh, I predict that there's going to be a whole new generation of artists that are going to be duped like by Hollywood, just like we were duped by Hollywood.
Well, what other options do they have? Like, their parents think it's like a suitable, legitimate career. What other choice do they have, you think? I mean, it's just a part of the culture. People are always going to think like, oh, I gotta work for the, animation.
Yeah, and I think that's why I think my existence is futile. My trying to fight the man and trying to, warn people and also encourage people to go independent, or like try any other way if you can when you're young to make it not through corporations, especially Hollywood. Animation does not pay that much. I want you all to know that.
Especially when you're living here.
Yeah, where cost of living is really high. There are a lot more creative jobs in Hollywood, LA, that do not involve working in Hollywood, and they pay more. Like, commercial storyboarding pays more than twice as much as Hollywood does. Live action, at the very least, work in live action. They pay a lot in live action, and there's if anything, become a graphic designer. You'll probably get more work and get paid more.
Freelancer, take whatever job you want.
If you really want that like corporate sad life, but you want to get paid a lot, at the least get paid more. Like graphic designers have more work in general. Like if you become an animator or some kind of like character designer, let's say,
your job pool becomes a lot smaller.
Yeah. And you get paid less. If you know how to, work it, and like you can potentially make a lot more doing other things. So I'm just like, people truly they're picking vanity over money. They're picking, like, that's what I did. I knew, because I was making more. I was making more money, not in animation, freelancing basically. And I was like, I'm willing to give up whatever amount of money I am making currently to work in Hollywood for vanity. Like, I'm not afraid to admit that, because that's why everyone wants to work in Hollywood. Like, why else?
Yeah.
But I also wanted to do the thing I loved. I wanted to storyboard, and I wanted to do all, like, to really, like, there's this allure, like the grass is always greener type thing of, well, I'm not doing what I love now. I'm doing a job. I'm getting money to put food on the table. But when I'm storyboarding, I'm going to be doing my passion. I'm going to be doing this thing I love every single day. And that's just not what a corporate job is. It's just, a corporate job is never going to be that, and Hollywood is just a shinier corporation. Yet people don't know that. And you see this everywhere too. And the best example I could think of for this, for all the millennials and Gen Zers, is look at Billie Eilish. When I discovered Billie Eilish, I thought her music was really cool. I thought she was really cool. And in a lot of ways, I think we discovered her right before she went like super mainstream.
I think, this was Coachella 2019. Yeah. We saw some footage from her performance, and she was like performing on top of this floating bed or something.
Yeah.
Really dope.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this girl has really neat, edgy sounding music that I'm sure the youths will like.
Yeah. And I saw her, and I really like that kind of almost indie vibe energy, that like she still seemed small, like a smaller artist. She wasn't
at the time.
Yeah. She was already like gaining a lot of steam, but she had that energy, and I really liked her, and it kind of felt like she wasn't truly in the music industry yet.
Yeah. She wasn't in the fold.
Yeah. But then, like, I started following her on Instagram and like really like keeping tabs on her because I really liked her music. And then I saw slowly but surely she starts taking photographs with like Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber, and it's interesting. It's the exact same attitude. She is very excited. She's like, oh my god, like meeting these really amazing artists and celebrities. Oh, that's so cool. It's very similar to the young artists. And then you the other side though, you start thinking like, what, you are far more cool and interesting, and they have everything to gain. Selena Gomez
by being friends with you.
And Justin Bieber has everything to gain to be friends with you. It honestly should be the other way around. Yeah. They should be the one, oh my god, I'm so happy to meet you, and she should be the one that's like, yeah, whatever.
And there's a lot of Selena Gomez's and Justin Bieber's in the industry, right?
Yeah.
Just like and you're gonna get replaced, man.
Yeah, and that's perfectly fine. My problem with it is that they're not Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber. They're outside of this very, very tiny, tiny, tiny bubble. No one knows who they are. Like, my friends outside of the art community do not know any of these people.
But this, like, if you're a YouTuber like this person we're talking about, this, like, they stand a far greater chance of being known, if that's their prerogative, being on YouTube than just being some schmo working in Hollywood.
Oddly enough, like, being on the internet and creating content for the internet makes it so you're more well known than any of the people who think they're hot shit in Hollywood, animation. Especially in animation. I'm just like, so it confuses me when I experience their ego, and I'm just like, you're just a known name animation artist, and so am I, which is why, like, it weirds me out that people think I have an ego, because I'm very aware of my irrelevancy, because no one cares about art. And we're kind of an art channel, so no one knows who we are. But like, I know that. Do you know that? do the people in animation know that? I don't think so. I am still listening to Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. It is a very long, very interesting book, and if you want to listen to audiobooks and you do not already have an Audible subscription, head over to audibletrial.com/the Honey and Absinthe podcast, where you will get 1 free audiobook or 2 free Audible original audiobooks. That's 3 audiobooks in total. That's audibletrial.com/the Honey and Absinthe podcast.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I get a little like hopeful and romantic sometimes that, like, you know, I hope like there's a new generation that will like surpass and really improve upon whatever the heck we've done. But I don't know. It's hard. It's hard because like there's so much pressure. And it's difficult to say, oh, I'm going to do something different. And that's what I really wish for these really, really new, talented young people. Just do something different. We're entering this new decade. Do you think things are going to be the same anymore? I don't think so. And the problem is we don't know what it's going to be. We don't know what the next big thing is going to be, or what the next, big thing is going to be like. But when it happens, everyone will know who the first people are. And I just think these really talented young people should just try to be those first people at whatever it is.
Yeah, and you said you want them to just take all the irrelevant artists' jobs.
Oh yeah, and if they do decide to work, because it's like, how many people in the industry do you think genuinely love animation? Do you love animation?
Not anymore.
Oh, okay. But that's for different reasons. But like, how many people do you think genuinely are in the industry just for the Instagram followers and just to, look good in cocktail parties?
I'm like thinking about all our friends and everyone I knew, and I think everyone at one point had that young like love for animation. I think we all did. That's why we got into this. But I think by the time they're working, and let's say they've been working for at least 2 years or more, they don't. I think I want to say
real life hits, and then
yeah, and they realize it's a corporate job and they're sad. I think 20%. I think 20% actually like this job.
Wow, that's really low.
Yeah. Because I was really thinking, at first I was going to say 40, and then I was like, no, it's less than that.
And this is why I think the is bad. I think that's why the stuff that comes out is bad, because there are a lot of people who don't do it for the love of the thing. Like, for example, I'm working on an episode right now that's really like flaring my, I want to try really hard at this. Like, I want to try really, really hard at this. I like, and it's really, it makes every day really, really exciting. And I'm not the type to ever post this work on Instagram and all that stuff. And like, it's likely you'll never know that this thing that I tried really, really hard on is done by me. But like, the point is, I am really happy that I have the opportunity to make this really cool thing. And I really doubt that there are a lot of people who feel the same way.
And that only happens to you like once a year.
And you meet, and there are people who you meet, like we have a good friend who would like see us at conventions, and I remember you telling him that you were going to quit, and this was like about like 5 months. I think this was at Lightbox. And then you told this person that like, oh, I'm going to quit, and I just don't like. Oh no, it was Designer Con. That's right. You told him everything that's basically was about to happen, and then I was like, well, I just like doing the thing, and I like enjoying and helping other people make a really cool thing. And then this guy was like, yeah, I am on that boat, and I'm like, yeah. I think these are the people. If you can find the right people, these people, they can make your thing be awesome, you know. And like there are lots, and like especially there are lots of people who like want to climb the ladder, who want to just gain followers and all that stuff, who want to just work on the thing for the clout. Yeah. You know, and really rush. I especially in a career like ours where like you have to, you know, really be good at everything when you're let's say an art director. You want to like take your time and understand how to be a good artist. It's a good long journey, but I feel like people rush that just because they want that title, man.
Yeah, and it says a lot that like I really respect some of my previous directors, and we both have the sentiment that like we don't want to be in that title until we're ready.
The director title.
Yeah. For you, art director, and for me, director, because of so much respect we have for our mentors, and they really we can tell the good ones from the bad ones, and it tends to be the more experienced ones. The ones
tend to be the good ones.
Yeah, they're older. They're, I want to say, late 40s, 50s now. Yeah. Around, usually those tend to be my favorite directors. They've lived enough life, they've done this enough to have a perspective that is interesting and nuanced and thoughtful. I think it's really bad that right now people our age, our friends, are becoming art directors and directors so young. And where did all the older directors go? They didn't go anywhere. They're just too expensive now, and the studios would rather just hire young, dumb talent. And like, I don't think I am competent enough compared to some of my like most beloved directors that I've worked with to do what they do.
Yeah.
And for good reason. I'm very young. But it's common. It's very, like, almost, like, a lot of the shows that I am thinking about right now that are, they're being showrun by people in their 30s or younger, by our friends. Some of our friends are directors and art directors, and they're very talented, but they're not I can't say they're as talented as some of
Our
like
teachers.
yeah.
Even.
and I like, to me, why else do you think our content is bad when they're being told by a bunch of young dumb 20 somethings with no experience, and we live in this weird bubble where we think we're so self-important, and I'm just like, this is no wonder. And like, I agree with you that I am kind of hopeful that these young artists who love this thing so much, who are so talented, don't, get ruined by Hollywood, and they keep this passion and this drive, and they take all their jobs, all the people who got into it for vanity.
What would you say, like 80% you'd wager that aren't in it for the love of the art?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Imagine how good our movies would get.
Yeah, for that reason.
Yeah.
Because I want good movies, good media
movies.
again.
Yeah.
Like, I just want better content, because I just don't watch anything or do, like, I don't consume anything anymore, because it just is it's such a waste of my time. Like, I'm disappointed usually at movies modern day movies, ones that are recent. So I have to watch old movies, because I'm just so bored or disappointed by modern day movies. I'm just like, God, this is awful.
Oh, yeah.
Awful when you are conditioned by really, really, like, the greats. Sadly, I am not as optimistic as you to think that this will actually happen. I don't actually think this is going to happen, because I am also realistic, because I think Hollywood is really seductive, because of my experience of, like, no matter what I say, people just do not believe me. And I think when you're young, you have the best of intentions. Mm-hmm. You have all this energy, you want to change the world, you want to do something important, you want to at least make good stuff. If you're an artist, you just want to make good stuff that's truly as innocent as you can get. And then Hollywood happens, and it starts with the people accepting you into their squad, and then it escalates to the studios gives you free lunch and you free Disney tickets or whatever it is, and
early access to movies, content.
And you get to say, I work at X studio, and then depending who you talk to, some people will be like, oh.
Family gatherings, it's like, oh, wow, you work at Disney.
Artist.
It's the Disney. Oh, your daughter to be a Disney artist. Wow.
And then they, like, tell their child,
wow,
your cousin.
Your cousin's a Disney artist. Like,
stop it.
So annoying.
Stop it.
Stop it, Mom.
Yeah.
God.
And all of that, no one is immune to that. Absolutely. If you think you are, you have a big ego. And I can say that because we thought that. Everyone in Hollywood thought that at one point, that, like, oh, Hollywood isn't going to change me, I'm just in it for the art. I just wait till they give you, like, some, like, cupcakes and free lunches and
I know a person
swag.
from the top of my head who straight up is just like, I'm doing this for the money, man.
At least they admit it.
At least they admit it. At least they're happy. They're just going to go home, play 2K, and get their, like, anime figures.
Yeah.
Whatever. They're happy.
Exactly.
But at least they're honest.
Yeah.
In what they...
And, like, for me, like, we had big egos to think that, like, oh, we're in it for the art, and, like, it's whatever, like, we can change Hollywood, we can like, you know, we're gonna become showrunners one day, we're gonna do the thing. We've been there. We thought that, and, like, yes, it takes someone with a big ego to go the extra mile to do the thing, but, like, Hollywood seduces you, and, like, Hollywood is very seductive. So instead of fighting against that, because I know, like, you know, I am not going to change anyone's mind. Someone who really is still like, Disney is my childhood. You for saying it's awful. I'm like, I'm not doing it for my sake. I'm doing it for your sake, but okay. I'm you're not going to discourage me. I'm going to do this thing. I'm like, okay. No one's stopping you. And they're going to do it. They're going to do it regardless of what I say. But I want people, young people in particular, to realize that if you're doing it right now, if you're making content on social media and it's getting any kind of attention, you're growing, you're doing it. You are doing it already. And you are most likely, if you are growing, if you have found some kind of large following, you're most likely making money.
Yeah, you don't need Disney or Sony or DreamWorks to validate you.
No.
Man.
So
they'd give anything to have what you have, to be honest.
Yes, to have your audience.
Yeah.
They pay big money for your audience. And I don't believe Disney and these corporations are as powerful as a lot of people seem to think they are. When truly independent creators are getting more attention than them. And examples, there are so many examples, and who are 10 years younger than me, which is sad for me. But for example, I followed, I think his name is Matthew Sorgi, on YouTube a few years ago when he was still in high school. And now he's an 18-year-old, and he is a full-time artist because he posted his work on Instagram, on TikTok, and YouTube, and now he has a fairly big following. Why would he go to college? Why would he want to work for Disney when he is making money right now doing whatever he wants, painting whatever he wants, doing whatever he wants?
Or Marco, painting on iPhones and rocks.
Yes, and shoes, and doing
what's the point? I remember I discovered Marco and I was just like, and I recently got my new job, and I was like, what this kid's painting rocks, and I had to do so much to get here, and he's getting painting rocks, has a bajillion followers and subscribers and views
for money. He's painting rocks for money.
Yeah,
because he feels like it.
And I'm like, what am I doing? What the f*** am I doing?
We're all wasting our lives. And I forget this artist's name. I forgot, but they're a 16 or 17-year-old now who got on NFTs right when NFTs became right before it became popular, so I think 2020 or even before then, and he now makes hundreds of thousands of dollars off of NFTs. And I'm just like, this kid, this 16-year-old is making more money than I could have ever dreamed of at 16 because they were much smarter than me and got on to social media and started taking it very seriously 10 years before
you.
I decided to take it seriously. Yeah. And I'm just like, how many more examples do I have to give people that if you're doing it, you're doing it. You do not need Disney. You do not need these big corporations to allow you, to give you permission to do something, to do whatever it is you want to do, because you can. The barrier of entry right now is just so low. Anyone can make an anime thing. Anyone can make it if you have what it takes, and if you work hard on YouTube or whatever platform, you can do it. And I think another criticism that I remember getting around that time when my video came out, other than the fact that people are really angry at me for giving up this thing that they want, then go get it then. I'm telling you I'm leaving. What does that have anything to do with your inability to get it? And a lot of people would say oh, the internet is you can only last so long on the internet. Who knows how long the internet's gonna last, or how any of this is gonna last. Influencers are dying. Whatever pessimistic thing they want to say that is telling me I'm making a bad decision, because for some reason in their minds, Hollywood and this corporate job is more stable than this other life that I'm trying to see what is out there for me. And I was kind of like, what makes you think Hollywood is all that stable? What makes you think Hollywood is going to be here longer than the internet and the opportunities of the internet is going to be here? In fact, just treat everything like it's all going to disappear one day. And that includes Hollywood. I don't know why, like, for me, our teachers told us this and really drilled it into our minds that, like, whatever you decide to do, don't make that be who you are. Because if that goes away, you go away. So when print illustration wasn't as big of a thing, a lot of print illustrators went the way of the dodo. And then they had to go to Hollywood and to commercials and that kind of stuff.
Paint backgrounds instead of movie posters.
Right. But then now, as things are changing, because you recently sent an article that was really upsetting.
Yeah, it was really upsetting for me because I used to go to one of these theaters. It was 5 minutes away from my high school.
Mm-hmm. And it was talking about how ArcLight and what was the other theater?
Pacific Theaters.
Pacific Theaters are going under.
And all of their facilities are closed. All of the theaters are closing down.
All of them. So, like, the whole, like, stonks thing, and people save basically the McDonald's chain of movie theaters, AMC. But when
to add insult to injury, one of our favorite theaters, the Egyptian Theater, I saw Stalker there.
Mm-hmm.
Bought by Netflix.
Yep.
Netflix.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
I knew this was going to happen. I knew the first things to go were my favorite independent cinema
theaters.
players. Yeah.
That show film, like and restore film.
They were just like, yoink.
Yeah, they're like, bye-bye. There's not enough film students in the world to keep you alive.
Yeah, not enough America's Cinematique donations to keep you from keeping us Netflix from taking your theater.
And what did I say? For all the people who have been listening to our podcast from the beginning, what did I say? I predicted this was going to happen. And because I looked into the history of all of this, and I, like it said, the theaters are going to be bought out by the big studios that are capable of surviving a pandemic. I said that, no one believed me, and it's happening, and no one cares. And it's upsetting. It's very upsetting because, like, I do not want production houses to also distribute.
A little gross.
Yeah. If you don't understand why, read it up a little bit on, like, film history. But it was very upsetting, and to me it just signaled, like, look at all these movie theaters closing, and there's no, like, movies are currently being released now. Mm-hmm. Finally,
Godzilla did great,
but there is not the same enthusiasm for it at pre the coof.
This reminds me of, like, 2000s when Fight Club came out or something, where, like, people were just, like, kind of going to the movies.
Mm-hmm. And even there's no amount of franchises that seems like it can save these studios, because, like, we look at even Marvel, there's rumors that Falcon and Winter Soldier isn't being received very well and isn't doing very well at all. It's just, where do you think this goes? We've been saying that Hollywood is dying, independent creators and media is rising in popularity. It was accelerated by the pandemic, and it's slowly, the balance of power is slowly being shifted. And just like I said,
I think it's quickly being shifted. It's happening really fast, man. Like, I thought it was pretty crazy when, like, oh, this PewDiePie guy is getting really popular and all that stuff. But no, now it's like, now I see Hollywood celebrities and internet influencers kind of on the same ground in my mind.
Yeah. Of,
like, how can I influence you? How can I get you to look up to me? How much does the public look up to these figures? I don't know. I think at this point it's almost a generational thing. I think us were the last few, I guess the millennials are the last to ever really understand and know what being Hollywood really means. But, you know, like Gen Zers and whatever comes after are just like, oh, Hollywood people, fuck those people. Where's my Belle Delphine?
Yeah, where's my Charlie D'Amelio?
Yeah.
And everyone has their one. Like, I don't know if anyone is going to achieve the level of fame anymore that like celebrities used to get, because now it's so everyone can have their favorite person, and that's fine. Like, not I don't think any at the height of like Jennifer Lawrence's fame, I don't think anyone needs to be the it girl of the year or whatever. I think it could just be like, oh, I like this person a lot. And
you like this person?
Yeah,
I like this person.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, everyone could have their favorite person or their favorite celebrity, internet personality, whatever it is. And like, when I see this happen, just like I said, Hollywood is going through its death throes, and right now, like I said, they will on the competing thing that's competing with, like, actively squashing them. So for a long time, and they still do it, they will poo-poo internet creators and be like, oh, we're Hollywood, we're celebrities, we're better than that, or whatever. So they did that for a long time. Now they're trying to join us. They're trying to join the YouTube. Like, the media and YouTube is slowly merging somehow. And like, celebrities are starting to do vlogs and weird stuff.
Yeah, Hollywood people have YouTube channels.
Yeah.
Whoa,
weird. And after that, if they don't succeed or get any kind of success, then it's gonna get nasty. Then they're gonna be like at war with the internet, and you're already seeing that now. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. That like, nothing is forever, even Hollywood.
Yeah, like we talked about Matthew McConaughey, The Rock, these types of people getting in on YouTube.
Will Smith.
Yeah, just trying to adapt, and that's the sign of, you know, someone who's paying attention.
Yeah, trying to join, get where the getting's hot, like, get their piece of the pie. People who think that, like, oh, especially like if you are a parent and you have like a child who is like, because my parents would have had a heart attack. I want to make videos on the internet, and they'd be like, get a real job.
Yeah.
We didn't pay all this money and put you through this education just so
we didn't leave communist China for you to puff up your front of a camera.
And I think it's hard. I think it's hard with young people who have all these expectations from their parents and society to tell them to get a real job, to sell their soul, and to sit in a corporate cubicle all day. But I remember I was invited to give a talk by one of my mentors at our art school around when I first got hired. And a lot of people were asking me, like, how do you break in, and what was your story, that kind of thing. And, you know, I told my story, and I actually don't think I have told it publicly.
Janet, is our audience ready for your origin story?
Maybe not. Oh. Maybe I will tell it to the full extent one day, but I will give you just a brief
teaser.
Yeah. My relationship with my parents was never as good as it is. It wasn't always as good as it is now. And I think with especially Asian parents, you go through ups and downs in your life. But around right after I graduated, it was particularly bad, because, like, you know, Asian parents, they do not want you to become an artist. That's the last thing they want. But if you decided to do it, then you at least have to be a successful one. Otherwise, there is hell to pay. And They just I think a lot of immigrant parents have this expectation that if I send you to college, you are guaranteed a job after. Like
I don't have to worry.
Yeah. Like we paid all this money so that the minute you graduate, a job just lands on your lap and you are good.
At least that's what they're told.
Yeah, that's what they think. They think that like, oh, that's why a lot of immigrant parents will do anything to make sure you go to college and a good one. It doesn't matter how much they have to pay. It like, especially Asian parents, they will make very bad financial decisions just so you can go to a good college, just so you can go to Ivy, whatever. They will do anything to open the world for you, because that's what they think they're doing. They think by going to an Ivy League or whatever prestigious college, you are set for life, and your grandchildren will be like, they're thinking that long term. They're like, once they graduate, they're like 21, 22. I raised them for 21 years of their life, and they're good after that. They do not want you to go back home and do nothing after they have paid a lot of money for your degree. So my parents were really hard on me, and a lot of people we went to school with have very similar situations. So I told my story of just like how hard it was for me and how hard my family and the people in my life made it extra hard for me but eventually, I pushed through it. I worked really hard and I got hired. Half luck, half perseverance, I guess. But I remember getting asked this question from some younger artists in the class, and they were like, what do you do if your parents aren't supportive of you, like your parents weren't or whatever? And I was like, well, clearly now you know my story. Life was really hard for me. My parents were really hard on me, and it's your life though. Like, it was kind of hard, as much as, depending how you're raised, you have this love-hate relationship with your parents. You kind of hate them, but you also, you're obligatorily love them as well. As much as you respect them and all that they've given you, you at a certain point you have to go, F you. It's my life. It's my life.
It's my Marky Mark Wahlberg and Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
F you, Mom. Yeah. I'm gonna live on my tree. F you, Mom.
Do something with my life.
Do something with my life. I'll show you, Mom. Yeah.
And sometimes you just gotta, don't say that. Don't say that to your parents. They're gonna beat you.
And we're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah, but you just gotta live your life like that, because they're gonna pass one day, and you're gonna be on your own.
Yeah.
You gotta kind of be an adult and be especially my advice would be leave home. Get any job and leave, because if they're paying your bills and putting a roof over your head, then they get to say whatever they want to you. But if you leave, you can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter if you're bagging groceries. Just you want to put yourself in a better headspace and pursue whatever it is you want to do. And there are people in your life that are telling you to a different way to live your life, then leave or figure out how to leave. Get a job or whatever. It's really that simple. But I know it's hard for young people who've never had a job ever, and they're like, well, I don't even know how to go about doing that. But you learn. I guess that's my point.
Why do young artists choose vanity over money? Just to, I guess, put a nice bow on top of everything.
I think society tells them to.
I agree.
I think it's seductive how good it feels.
Yeah. Also, turning 30 now. I love how I get to say turning 30 now. I have to say, it's not worth making whatever young people think is just all the good things that come with fame. In my opinion, in where I'm standing now, doesn't compare to, making a life for yourself, telling your own story and not, doing what everybody else is doing.
Yeah. I think it comes down to like the philosophy of, does money make you happy? Do you think money makes you happy? And I think everyone has a different answer. And I think when I was younger, I believed a little bit of both. I would say money does make you happy. I think especially when I was younger. But at a certain point, once you are capable of... money does solve a lot of people's problems. It solves like most problems. Any problem that you have, you can throw money at it and solve it. But does it make you happy? I don't think so anymore. Because I think once you have enough money to put food on the table, everyone's okay, you are not hurting, you can take care of yourself, you can live fine. Any more than that, it doesn't do anything other than you just collect more things. And you might think that momentarily makes you happy, or that can make you happy, but I think the reason why people choose vanity is because that makes you more happy. I think it makes a lot of people more happy in a more immediate way than money. Because like at a certain point, I don't even think people aren't good with numbers, they aren't good with money, they don't know how much is in the bank and how much they're getting and how much they're saving, all this stuff. Like they can't fathom. Money is just an idea. Does it have value? Only if you think it has value. So like I do think the reason why is because vanity it feels so much better than making money feels.
It's more immediate.
Yeah.
There's a certain amount of suffering it takes, some grinding and making money sometimes.
Yeah. What is our recommendation this week?
We were going to the Korean market because we wanted Korean snacks. Mm-hmm. You crave, Korean fish chips all the time. And I love Korean rice drink. Mm-hmm. So you get your Korean chips and I get my rice drink. And I tell you this thing I was thinking about, like, that movie Silence? That movie... We think, and I would tell you all the time, that movie was dangerously close to becoming like a cheesy Hallmark movie. Yeah. But it was, I think, one of my it's like, I think top 5, and it was really weird to say, but like it is my top 5 favorite Scorcese movies because, I don't know, I just think like whether you're a faith-based person or not, I think it's just compelling to watch the struggle of these characters. I mean, if you don't know anything about the movie, like, please, that's why we're recommending it, watch it. But like, I always felt like, why does this movie feel so obvious? Why does it feel so like this movie is so about this character who is trying to, be very Christ-like, sharing the word to the people in Japan, even though the Japanese government or the emperor or whoever was just not cool with that kind of stuff. But it just felt at first 2 or 3 viewings, I saw this just a few. I like rewatching this. It's a gorgeous movie. Mm-hmm. Rewatching this multiple times, but then I think around the 3rd one, and then you saw Boogie Nights, and we talked about how like that was a movie not about, but totally about Hollywood. Yeah. And then we had the conversation about Scorcese around the time he came out with Silence, talking about how how he's just like kind of heartbroken and has no hope for the future of cinema. Yep. As long ma, like a big cinema. Cinema as he knows it. And I just kept thinking like, oh wait, because like there's this great video on YouTube about with Quentin Tarantino telling the legend about Scorcese. I don't want to butcher it, but and especially because it's not really safe for YouTube, but like you should go find that video where Scorsese talks about Tarantino talks about Scorsese's edit for Taxi Driver and how the censoring boards were not happy with the ending. Oh, and Scorsese got really dramatic.
He wanted to self-delete?
Or somehow find a way to to save the picture, and he did. It's a great story. Try to find it, but like, and Scorsese would say all the time when you watch commentary for his movies that he sees himself as a like disciple of cinema. Like he sees the cinema as his church. Now, Scorsese grew up Italians, God, it's a thing. Yeah. But like for Scorsese, the cinema, Bicycle Thieves, the Italian French New Wave, everything, samurai movies, Ozu, all of these people that he grew up with, that was his church. Yeah. And I feel like he became a director to, spread that the good word of, because Scorsese really is an amalgamation of everything he's ever seen. Yeah. Mixed in with his essence. So you see his influences really clearly. And it's really interesting that when I was thinking about Silence again, I was thinking like, oh, do you see yourself as Andrew Garfield? Because Andrew Garfield has this arc in this movie where he's really idealistic. He really wants to like, be a good Christian and all this stuff. But by the end of the movie, his faith is tested, and it's just gnarly. It's a gnarly movie. Yeah. But I wonder sometimes, does he see himself like this? And I forgot to tell you too, the main reason why I was thinking about this was like, I remember hearing, and I wonder if you could find it, an NPR interview with Scorsese around the time he came out with Silence, talking about what was his influences and all this stuff, and then why he came up with the movie, and then he talked about his typical faith struggle stuff.
Typical Scorsese.
Typical Scorsese. Mean Streets. Struggling with faith and stuff. But like there was also like this hint that like it was also about something else, and I didn't understand what he was talking about, or maybe I'm just misremembering something, but like I explained all of this to you. Yeah. And what do you think?
And I was like, yeah, that fits like a glove. That I think Silence is Scorsese's Hollywood Sucks movie.
Huh. And can you get into more elaborate detail than me, because I was trying to be vague. Yeah. So hopefully you've seen the movie. I guess we're gonna spoil it.
We'll probably spoil some stuff. Yeah. But
great movie. Please, I implore you, please watch that movie.
I realized after watching Boogie Nights, and up to this point, I have watched quite a few directors' catalog of movies now, and I was like, I think every good director has a Hollywood Sucks movie. And they clever. The thing is, if you made a movie like that blatantly about how Hollywood sucks, it just wouldn't be made.
Yeah, it wouldn't be greenlit.
So all these directors cleverly like hide it by making the movie about something else. So Boogie Nights was about the industry, and I remember thinking at the time, it's like, what's Scorsese's I Hate Hollywood movie? And I think you're right. I think it's Silence. I think because when I watched it, I loved the look of the movie. It's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Beautifully shot. You could study it for days, and just, it's amazing. But I did feel like it was shallow when I came out of the movie theater. And I was confused, because I was like, I feel like I'm being tricked right now, because I never felt that way coming out of after watching a Scorsese movie. Shallow is not something to describe his movies. So I felt like I must be stupid. I must be missing something here.
Also, not being a religious person, you chalked it up to being, maybe it's just, I don't get it.
Yeah, maybe I felt a little bit of the same way about Black Narcissus when I watched it. I was like, I'm not religious, I guess.
Yeah.
I realized when you said that, I was like, oh, that makes sense. That makes this movie so much more deep. So much, because like if you put Scorsese in the character of, in the place of Andrew Garfield's character, you realize like, and you put religion as Hollywood and as cinema and all this stuff, you realize, oh,
you really have to get Scorsese to get this movie. Like, you have to understand, like, Hollywood is Like the movies are his thing. Like he lives and breathes that thing, man.
Yeah.
So when he made this movie, I felt the way that you felt. It's like I was walking out and I was feeling like really good. I was like, but I also felt like, oh, that was kind of like an 8.
Yeah.
But then, like, you know, the more I watched it, it became more of a 9. But then when I told you, I was like, oh, isn't it this?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. Because Scorsese, if you are kind of like aware of what he does in his like life, he actually like he's so generous with his time, and he sermons, or he like does his like missionary thing of like going to film schools and like talking to film students and giving lectures, and he has this whole project revitalizing cinema, world cinema.
Yeah, there's old decaying prints of world cinema, movies that he's seen before but that are, you know, deteriorating, and he's spending boatloads of money trying to restore these things and trying to scour the world for a print that's at least salvageable.
And didn't he want to be like a priest? Yeah. So it made sense. Like, oh, you, instead of becoming a legit priest, you became a missionary for cinema. And he goes through, like, Andrew Garfield's character goes through this movie, and then, you know, he has his partner, Adam Driver, who has like a weird ego complex eventually. And at first I really didn't get it. I was like, oh, I guess I'm not religious. Maybe that happens to some priests. They think they're Jesus or something. But if you take that and you translate that into like the ego of a director, that's what that was. I was like, oh, that makes so much more sense now.
So like the scene where he sees Jesus in his own reflection in the puddle, it's like that ego thing. And it's what's more telling is the aftermath of the movie, of how my favorite scene in this movie was there's Andrew Garfield talking to this fantastic Japanese actor who plays, I don't know, some sort of
it's like a disciple
diplomat. Diplomat for you know, the government and stuff, and just explaining how like, we don't want you here. Whatever you're trying to grow here, it will not grow. Japan won't take its soil or something like that. It's just beautifully performed and everything like that. But like, I wonder if there was a moment like that in Scorsese's life where like his dreams are crushed, where someone told him that like, oh yeah, you actually saying we don't do that here. We fucking make money here. We gain influence and we make money. Well, all that like making art. And then at the end of the movie, Andrew Garfield assimilates into the Japanese culture and sort of becomes a you know, he helps them out. And
arm of the government.
And we, you know, as an audience member, you're watching this, and this is like the silence. This is what the movie is. You know, it's not the Ingmar Bergman, oh, good, what like, God why has forsaken me? No, it's literally like, I have to stay silent because, you know, I have to pretend to be a certain way. And at the end of the movie, you know, Andrew Garfield's character becomes very, very old and dies, but holds on to like this, I forgot what, like some sort of Christian idol or something, whatever it is, and holds on to it as you know, as he's being burned, I think, cremated. And I wonder, sad to say, if that's what Scorsese feels. Like he feels silent, that he feels powerless to do it, just like how Andrew Garfield feels powerless at the end of the movie. If that's how he feels, and he's just going to leave this earth clutching onto the thing that he loves, it's very, very small, this idol,
and hoping that his he continues to try to convert people, but in secret, under, like, he needs to survive. He can't, you know, he realized like it's either join or not survive. And he was like, okay, I'll join, but only because I will use my aliveness, being alive, to like slowly, secretly spread the word. And his wife at the end, like, I guess successfully he converted her, and she like tucks the little idol secretly before like no one can see that he still believes, truly believes.
At the very end, like he died a believer, even though everyone thought, he's
a sellout, basically. Yeah. And my favorite scenes are with one of the other Japanese actors that I thought you were talking about.
Kokichiro.
Yeah.
Kokichiro! Damn you, Kokichiro is like the catchphrase in that movie.
And he is one of his most loyal disciples.
I want to be a good Christian.
But he just does not know how to practice religion properly. And
he's terrible at it.
Faith and loyalty is just non-existent.
Yeah. It blows like the wind.
Yeah. Whatever he can do to survive, I guess.
Yeah.
And every single time Andrew Garfield's character like has some semblance of hope for him, that like, oh, maybe he won't betray me this time, or he actually learned his lesson and he actually knows how to practice religion properly, and he always sells him out to the government.
Or everything somehow. Yeah. And I wonder what Scorcese thinks.
It's like, oh, I'm sure Scorcese, being a teacher is not easy.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, some students, some disciples, I don't know. I don't know about them. It makes the story even more hopeless with the addition of Kokichiro.
Yeah.
Like, oh god, this is my disciple, huh? Okay. that is a sentiment there. And I thought it was, when I translated all these things into this idea that like I think this truly is about like his God, I Hate Hollywood movie. And it fits, and it's sad. It's really sad.
It's really, really sad. It turns what I thought a shallow movie into like, oh, that's deep and sad and dark.
Yeah. That like, and he says something like, the ego that Andrew Garfield's character, the ego that he has, the ego that I have to think that I could come here and change things.
Right. And
to do good, or to make my mark on the world, or whatever it was. And then it's just sad. Like, I'm sure that's that's his sentiment in his op-ed in the New York Times, that like I couldn't. Someone as great as Scorsese couldn't. That his love for cinema and film and all of this, like the Hollywood machine is just too great. And Hollywood is inhospitable to art, to film right now. And he feels sad for all the young filmmakers out there. Like that last paragraph still haunts, like he was speaking directly to all the people who ever who has dreams of making it someday. Who
were like him when he was young. Yeah. Just wanted to die for their art.
He was like, if no one else hears me, this is for you. For you. I'm not talking to anyone else right now. I am talking to the young filmmaker who wants to make art. And it just hurt. It just hurt my soul. And I was just like, you're right. Clearly, like, no matter how much we say it, you gotta just find out for yourself. And that's why I think
it's up to you.
Yeah.
It's up to, like, we say this almost every 5 podcasts. Like, it's up to us. You, me, everyone, to do their part to tell a good story, because no one's clearly trying anymore.
But I have no hope. But watch this movie.
Yes.
It's a great movie. I want to watch it again with this new lens.
Oh, yeah, man. We should find some time over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And you should find some time over the weekend, too.
Please watch it and let us know what you think. Are we just seeing what we want to see?
Are we projecting or what? Like, I don't know. Well, I guess you have to read the op-ed, too.
Yeah. To truly understand how he feels.
Yeah. Read the op-ed, watch the movie. All right.
Make sure to like this podcast. If you like this podcast, head over to honeyandabsinthe.com to help support this channel by buying some merch. Check out these other episodes over here to binge all our episodes, and we will see you next time.
Bye.